So, what if the real secret to building a billion-dollar empire wasn't about following the rules, but about completely shattering them? For decades, that's exactly what Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, has done. In this explainer, we're going to boil down his incredibly unconventional playbook into the 5 core philosophies that made him a true Silicon Valley legend.
All right, let's get right into it. First, we're going to track his journey from college dropout to tech titan. Then, we'll decode the audacious blueprint he used to actually build Oracle. We'll also see how he loves to take on the giants, where he's aiming his focus next, and finally, we'll pull out the unconventional wisdom that's really at the heart of his entire playbook.
Look, to really get who Larry Ellison is, you have to rewind the clock, way back. Before the billions, before Oracle even existed, there was this rebellious college dropout who just knew one thing for sure: the traditional path was not for him.
And this right here, this isn't some fluffy motivational poster quote for him. No, this is his actual operating system. He truly believes that the road to real innovation isn't about tiptoeing around failure, it's about running straight into it. So he basically swapped a diploma for a life of pure adventure. He left Chicago for the California coast, chasing his passions for things like rock climbing and sailing, and he paid for it all by writing code. He chose real-world challenges over classroom lectures, and that, right there, became his true education.
And this was a huge turning point. His marriage fell apart, really over the clash between living a conventional life and his deep passion for software and sailing. The lesson for Ellison was just crystal clear. Never again would he let someone else's idea of success define his own life. It was time to build something entirely on his own terms.
Okay, so how does that outsider mindset actually turn into a business plan? Let's dig into the unconventional blueprint for Oracle, a company that, let's be honest, broke all the rules right from day one.
While pretty much all of his competitors were pouring tons of money into marketing, Ellison did the exact opposite. He went all in on engineering. His core belief was simple: the best product would always, always win. So he invested in the absolute best talent to build the strongest software out there.
And man, did that bet pay off. Oracle's growth was just meteoric, shooting up from $50 million to $1 billion in revenue in what felt like a flash. But this kind of explosive growth, well, it creates its own massive problems, forcing Ellison to make one of the hardest decisions of his career.
He came to this really stark realization. The scrappy, get-it-done team that gets you to $50 million, they are not the same people who can steer a billion-dollar ship. It was a totally ruthless move, but in Ellison's mind, it was a necessary sacrifice to keep the company rocketing upwards.
So that brings us to a really key ingredient in the Ellison Playbook: competition. He doesn't just put up with it, he actively goes looking for it. He sees it as a catalyst, something that fuels innovation and growth.
You see, for Ellison, this isn't about just winning or having bragging rights. Not at all. It's more like a laboratory for self-discovery. A powerful rival is like having a world-class training partner that pushes you to shatter your own records and completely redefine what you thought was possible.
Just look at his strategy against Amazon Web Services. He didn't just try to beat Amazon at their own game. Nope, he matched them where they were strong, ease of use, and then he went for the jugular on one of their key weaknesses, security.
So you get it, right? For Ellison, a huge rival isn't something to be scared of, it's a gift. They are the whetstone that keeps your own blade razor sharp, because without that constant pressure, you risk getting dull.
Okay, so fast forward to today. Oracle is a beast, a global powerhouse. And now, Ellison is pointing that same competitive engineering-first playbook at a whole new set of targets, some of the biggest challenges humanity is facing.
I mean, his ambitions are way, way bigger than just business software now. He's using Oracle's immense power to tackle society's biggest problems. Everything from completely revolutionizing healthcare to building an early warning system for the next global pandemic.
And when it comes to something like generative AI, Ellison doesn't see it as just another tech buzzword. Not even close. He calls it a Sputnik moment, a technological shot heard around the world that's going to ignite a whole new era of innovation and competition, forcing everyone to adapt or get left behind.
He's basically declared war on how inefficient healthcare is, calling it his most important mission. He sees the crazy high cost and poor outcomes as a major societal crisis, and he believes Oracle has a moral duty to use its technology to build a better system for all of us.
And his whole vision for the cloud? It's a perfect example of his core philosophy in action. He's all about tearing down the walled gardens his competitors have built, creating an open system where customers actually have the freedom to own and move their data however they want.
All right, so we've seen the college dropout, the toughest-nail CEO, and the tech visionary. So what's the common thread here? What's the real ultimate takeaway from the Larry Ellison Playbook?
You know, when Ellison first pitched his idea for a relational database, this whole new way for computers to find connections in huge amounts of data, the experts, the so-called geniuses, they literally called him crazy. They said it was impossible. But he built it anyway, and that taught him a vital lesson. Real innovation doesn't come from a focus group. It's born on the fringes, looking an awful lot like madness right before it changes the world.
So, when you boil it all down, the Ellison Playbook isn't really a set of rules you can just copy. It's a mindset. It's this powerful mix of relentless self-belief, a burning desire to just dismantle the status quo, and the sheer audacity to chase your own vision, even when the rest of the world is calling you a fool.
So, if there's one thing to really take away from his story, it's this. The future isn't built by people who follow the rules. It's built by the rebels, the dreamers, the ones who are bold enough to chase the ideas that everyone else calls impossible. That just leaves one last question for you. What's your crazy idea?